आता. हा चला,
येतो
वेलकम
ना?
सर. वेलकम
थँक यू.
सर. आफ्टर अ लॉंग टाइम पर्सनली आपण एकमेकांना बघतो आहे. अ,
येस.
तुम तुमच्या परवानगीने प्रोग्राम सुरू करूयात.
नक्कीच, नक्कीच.
येस सर, वेलकम टू के के वाघ एज्युकेशन सोसायटी अँड के के वाघ फार्मसी इन्स्टिट्यूट. काजल मॅडम, प्लीज स्टार्ट द प्रोग्राम.
सर आवाज आवाज येतो का?
येस सर, आता सगळंच ओके आहे.
ओके. हा.
Your pleasant personality is also there, and your voice is also there. Your kind and gentle voice also is there. Yes, sir.
थँक यू सो मच.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, one and all. Once again, welcome Phumne sir and principal sir, as well as a very good afternoon to all the pharmacists and the delegates present for this webinar. First of all, happy World Pharmacist Day to one and all. I, Kajal Baviskar, warmly welcome our today's resource person, Mr. Balbir Phumne sir, Dr. K.S. Jain sir, Principal, KK Wagh College of Pharmacy, and Hirode sir, Principal, KK Wagh Institute of Pharmacy, as well as all the delegates. No doubt, a physician diagnoses a disease, but a pharmacist provides medicines to cure it. Pharmacist is indeed a magician who creates magic with chemicals. Every year, 25th September is celebrated as World Pharmacist Day. Today, to celebrate this special day, we are having with us one of the most eminent personality from the field of pharmacy, Mr. Balbir Phumne. I would now request our principal sir to address the audience. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kajal. And Anna, welcome. It's a very
Thank
long
you.
association I have with Honorable Anna, as he is well known in the field of community pharmacists. He has a very long stint. He's a graduate of 1973. He is a mixed personality with academic as well as regulatory as well as social interests, and is very respected person, and he's also a very good orator. I had the opportunity to have him as a chief guest in Siagat College of Pharmacy through a mutual friend, Sachin Itkar. I got introduced to him. Then we were together traveling to Chandigarh also. And then after in some of the APTI, I think mostly Indore also we met, and we have been connected with each other for almost more than 5 years through his very well-known WhatsApp group, Dear Pharmacist, where I see that his popularity and the love and respect for him by all the fellow pharmacists keeps on growing. And such a person I thought was appropriate because he's a true pharmacist. I also had the occasion to be his guest and get felicitated for the Maharashtra Pharmacy Association award when Dr. B. Suresh, Dr. Burande, Dr. Mahadik, and many other personalities were jointly hosted there. The who's who of pharmacy profession were there. That was a grand function, and was very nicely. He's a very good organizer also. And let me welcome him to KK Wagh Education Society and our College of Pharmacies. We have a very old society which is now in 51st year, sir. Last year we had our golden jubilee. And this society is synonymous with academic excellence, particularly in technical education, school, as well as humanities. And also it is rather one of the only society having 6 diverse courses in agricultural sciences, which can be itself qualifying for a deemed to be university in agricultural. It has campuses spread all over Nasik in 9 different regions and 5 different farms it has. And our honorable president is 90 years old, but still a very young and enthusiastic personality, very dynamic. The name of KK Wagh is Karmavir Kaka Saheb Wagh Education Society, who was an ex-MP and came from the grassroots levels of NIFAD. Taluka, which comes under Nasik. And his aim was girls' education as well as education for rural masses. He was very dynamic and very daredevil. He started this, the cooperation movement of sugarcane industry. And from that, they contributed to start a school. And this humble starting has mushroomed into a big tree, mainly due to the effort of our current president and his son, Honorable Bala Saheb, which is now further taken more professionally by his sons, Honorable Samir Dada and Ajinkya Dada, and with an equally competent secretary, Professor K.S. Bandi sir. Our engineering college and polytechnic college are brands to be reckoned with in North Maharashtra. Engineering has an intake of almost 1100 from BE to PhD, all courses, more than 10 branches. And even in this troubled admission era of our engineering is almost full every year. It has been repeatedly accredited by NAC as well as NBA. It has received platinum category, and it also has received NIRF national ranking. Recently, it started its innovation center also, for which it received 54 lakh grants from this MHRD. Polytechnic is also equally good, many a times accredited, and more than 900 intake. And in these two colleges, like in Siaghad also, I am sandwiched. We started in 2017. So somehow I have tried to come out fairly with what was expected. And I'm happy to tell you that our first batch has successfully passed with 100% results, with 67% students getting distinction marks. No failure, which is unique in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Technological University, in which we have 131 affiliated colleges. Not only that, during the pandemic also, our staff has worked very hard, developed themselves and trained themselves in ICT tools, which are not very good in case of pharmacy graduates compared to engineering graduates. And I am happy to tell you, dear respectable Adna, that we have converted entire, what you can say, syllabus of PCI from FY to final year into e-content, theory as well as practical. And most of this syllabus, almost 99% has been, what you can say, has been uploaded on the YouTube. We are the only college to do so. And today we offer the students not only quality teaching learning, but excellent laboratory, library, and infrastructural facilities. Once this pandemic eases, I will be definitely happy to invite you physically to this campus. It is a lush green campus of 23 acres, and you will definitely smell the excellence in the air. And we have all the sports facilities, right from very green, what you can say, cricket ground, basketball, tennis facility, as well as indoor facilities, and even a gym with sauna. So such has been the development. We have canteen facilities, bus facility, hospital, clinic facility, banking facility, and everything to mention. So today is the World Pharmacist Day, and as rightly the theme suggests, that pharmacy always trusted for your health. This has been really proven by the pharmacy professionals during the pandemic of almost 1 and 3/4 year. It started somewhere in December, or you can say 2019, or January 2020. And pharmacist has really emerged out as a corona warrior. Um, Pharmacist is actually a real expert in all spheres of discovery, conceptualization, to the actual approval of a medicine, its storage, its handling, its distribution, its adverse reactions, everything. And it was a big challenge. Being myself a researcher in medicinal chemistry, I know to discover a drug requires really more than 15 years. Still, the pharmacists all across the world, including our Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech, they developed vaccines. They came out with repurposed drugs, and somehow they tried to, or they have been successful in minimizing the human losses. And today, with successful immunization, I think we have almost averted the fear of the third wave. And today's declaration is from 4th, rural schools are going to open, and the urban schools from 8 to 12 standards are going to open, and we foresee that by 10th or 15th colleges will open. So all this gloomy situation will vanish. And so we are very proud to celebrate this World's Pharmacist Day. Not only we should celebrate it, but the future generation, developing students who are the future pharmacists should also understand the importance of this international event, and they should be professionally very, very proud and very, very respecting to their profession, which is indeed a noble profession. And today I will formally felicitate you, Honorable Anna. We don't have physical contact, so please allow me to virtually felicitate you with a bouquet on the screen. So I request Tushar Pawar sir to kindly have the bouquet. Yes, I felicitate you. Thank you. Yes. I'm also very pleased to tell you that the real pharmacist, today's chief guest, also has his birthday on this same auspicious day. So we'll also try. Yes, congratulations. Happy birthday to you,
Thank you.
from one and all on the behalf of the college. And let us have a cake for your birthday. So let us say happy birthday to you. Yes, sir. तुम जियो हजारों साल, साल के दिन हो 50,000. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with this, once again, I heartily welcome you, sir. And I hand over the proceedings to Kajal madam to take it further. And I see very good attendance, almost nearing to 200. Slowly it will further increase. Some exams are going on, but it will increase. Yes, Kajal madam, please.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the audience, as well as once again, happy birthday, sir. Now I would like to introduce today's eminent personality. So, sir did his graduation in pharmacy in the year 1973 from Government College of Pharmacy, Karar. Now, coming over to his career, he has worked for a brief stint of 1 year during 1973 to 74 as a lecturer in Government College of Pharmacy, Karar. In 1974, he joined as drug inspector in FDA, that is Food and Drug Administration, Maharashtra State, and he served there till year 1992. Subsequently, sir was promoted as Assistant Commissioner and was there till 2007. He has been a member of Pharmacy Council of India, New Delhi, for a span of 6 years, that is from 2000 to 2006. Sir is also an active member of many renowned associations. He has been a founder member and former president of Drug Inspector Welfare Association. He is a life member of Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, that is APTI. Also, sir has been founder president of Maharashtra Pharmacist Association. He is a life member of Indian Hospital Pharmacist Association. Also, he is a life member of Bombay Management Association. Sir is interested in topics like pharmacy profession, science and technology, spirituality, social work, sports, music, and many more. So I now request Khumne sir to please take over and to enlighten us on the topic. Please, sir.
Thank you, dear. It's my privilege to be among you in this auspicious occasion of World Pharmacist Day. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So we are celebrating this great day with our fervor and happiness. Dr. Kishore Jain, my dear friend, invited me to speak few words about our profession and this day also. So we are going to have a nice conversation. Let us say something about our World Pharmacist Day. As we know, the International Pharmaceutical Federation, that is FIP, is a global body representing pharmaceutical scientists and pharmacy educators throughout the world, and is represented by more than 150 professional associations. And so they are directly connected with more than 40 lakhs of pharmacies for the globe. It's an NGO and it's a very old organization established way back in year 1912 and is recognized as a leader since 1948. It is having an official relationship with World Health Organization. During the meeting of FIP in year 2009 in Istanbul, Turkey, they established this 25th September as World Pharmacist Day because the FIP, that is International Pharmaceutical Federation, was founded in the 25th September 1912. So we must thank the FIP for connecting all pharmacists all the world globe on occasion of this World Pharmacist Day. So with this brief description about our FIP and World Pharmacist Day, let me congratulate you, all my dear pharmacists, fellow students, faculty members, and friends. The fervor I am observing last few years among the pharmacists, particularly in India, it is because of these social media contacts, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, or Twitter, or WhatsApp. So thanks to these social media, who are bringing all the people, all the friends, all the relatives, all the professionals together and meeting not actually in person, but at least we are meeting on internet. So this facility provided by social media, we are using it. And that is the reason, particularly this year, I'm observing there is a lot of amusement and thrilling among the pharmacists to celebrate this great day. So it is my privilege that I am with you because of our World Pharmacist Day. Let us now come to our pharmacy profession. I'm going to give you some brief accounts related to how the pharmacy is evolved, its history, its background, contemporary happenings over the globe in India, and the challenges we are seeing, we are facing today, and resolve them for the better future of every pharmacist.
काय झालं मॅडम आवाज हॅलो हॅलो
So it is an accepted fact in the whole world, the philosophy, a very important subject, topic, whatever it may be. Philosophy in Greek, its meaning is love of wisdom. And this philosophy is also regarded as a mother of all sciences. As we know, during the Roman Empire, the great philosophers, Aristotle or Plato, they have made the world, their whole people come together and discuss many things, many topics related to nature, related to education, related to history, related to languages, related to morality, related to history. And from that period onwards, the humanity really evolved, and we are very happy that the natural sciences, including physics, chemistry, maths, and our own pharmacy, evolved. The definite credit we must give to our forefathers who thought the philosophy should be understood, should be assimilated in respect to their own profession, in respect to their own subject. So we know about our ancient civilizations, how they were involved and how they started using the drugs. That is the, again, Greek scientists, Arabic scientists, and Chinese scientists, including our Indian Ayurveda. These four main societies, civilizations, have created very established systems of medicines. And we are not surprised. Almost first prescription was written 2,000 years back. The natural sources, including plant, animals, and materials, they form the basis of our medicines. So it basically started from the natural substances, natural origins. Medicines started preparing. So there involved the process involved. And then chemistry part is involved somewhere. Through our Ayurveda, we had a master's in doing surgery or preparing the medications, as we find the works of Bhagat, Sushrut, and Charaka, the beautiful legacy of Ayurveda that we have seen in our own country. Then the Chinese people, independently, they had got their own way of evolution of the pharmacy and medicines in their country. They also contributed a lot. Then the Arabic people, then the Greek people like Galenic or Fleming, who invented the first antibiotics, penicillin. So these credits goes to that legacy, that why we are here in today's scenario. When we discuss all these things, we are taking into account how we are going forward with the contemporary developments in the other parts of the world. As far as India is concerned, we have in initial days no drug manufacturing, no facilities, everything was imported. Then, at the same time, the forefather of our pharmacy profession, Professor M.L. Shroff, who was not a pharmacist, he was a chemistry professor. He went for a few years to the United States and studied very closely what is the pharmacy profession means. He came back to India and he started first pharmacy college. So that is a great contribution by Professor M.L. Shroff, to whom we should be always obliged and thanks. Following him, there were many stalwarts and giants in our profession who devoted their whole life, like Professor Harkishan or B.D. Virlan, for example, and so many. So we are seeing this day. I am making a parallel evolution statements for the pharmacy profession as well as for the medicines evolution, drug industry evolution. We have got major acts related to drugs, that is Drugs and Cosmetics Act, Drugs and Magic Remedies Act, Drugs Price Control Order, then allied acts who are closely related with the implementation of these three acts, that is the Consumer Protection Act, Competition Act, then our Patent Act. All these acts put together, the regulations of medicines, the availability, the affordability of medicines takes properly, which is benefited to the large section of our society. So, how industry developed in India? The import were there. So we have to start our own industry. Then people like Hamid, people like Paramjit Singh, people like Gupta, who form the companies, Indian companies, like Cipla, Lupin, Wockhardt, Ranbaxy, and that journey started slowly onwards. But the hitch was how to manufacture the drugs, because our Patent Act of India was not allowing us to manufacture our copy, the drugs manufactured by the. But our great late Indira Gandhi ji, Prime Minister of India, made amendment to our Patent Act. Earlier, it was the product patented, but she amended the Patent Act and made it process patented. That means we can copy the product, but we cannot use the process they are using. With alternate process, we can manufacture the same molecule, same medicines in our country. So the gradually pharma industry started growing. At the same time, our pharmacy profession also started expanding. And for last 15 years, there is a plethora of college all over India. Some 2 decades back, hardly we were in thousands, but today we are more than 10 lakhs pharmacists. This is the greatest strength. Our number is the greatest strength to boost our profession the way it is desired to be. So, as development started taking place, the developed countries brought the principle of good manufacturing practices into action. And because of that, we have to also adopt those good manufacturing practices in reality. We were so much so doing the manufacturing of good quality drugs, we started exporting to the developed countries. So that is a great achievement. The credit goes to our pharmacists and our pharma industry. Because of our influence or impact in the international scenario, that we could provide the world-class quality medicines at affordable rates. The multinational companies, the giant pharma companies, indirectly, along with their governments, started thinking. And there were other businesses, trade barriers also for the global commerce. Then the World Trade Organization formed. Before that, GATT was there. The Duncan proposal was there. So it was the idea mooted by the developed country, particularly the USA, that we should have World Trade Organization so that the regulations would be common for the countries who are exporting or for the countries who are importing the medicines or any other commodities, articles, machinery, etc. So we were reluctant. We were very apprehensive as far as the our agriculture seeds are concerned because of company like international company in manufacturing of seed, agricultural seed. They are very dominating even today. Then we were also apprehensive about medicines. What would happen? Because earlier, the prevailing Patent Act, we could copy the product. But if we sign the WTO joining as a member, then we have to amend again our Patent Act. And India and China were the last countries to sign the WTO agreement. Before that, we have to again required to amend our Patent Act, and the process patented clause was replaced by with original product patent. So it came into effect in the year 2005. Since then onwards, as previously happening, easily we could, using reverse engineering, adopt an alternate process to manufacture that molecule and made the formulations by our own people in India and present those medicines at very affordable rates to our people. They were enjoying this sort of facility. Perhaps you may be aware that our drugs are cheapest. It's different thing. They also match with the international standards. We have to follow all those good manufacturing practices norms and revise from time to time. It is not that our impact was so and so much that US FDA, they thought that in large number the drugs are coming from India. So they established their own office, FDA in Hyderabad, and started inspecting our facilities. So barring few examples here and there, by and large, our companies could withstand all those GMP norms with the satisfaction of USFDA also. So this scenario is very pleasurable. We should consider ourselves very fortunate. But what is happening to the pharmacy profession was very, not that much satisfactory conditions we are meeting. The pharmacy profession means what? The pharmacy professions built by you and me. There are many sectors, there are many disciplines among ourselves. You may be graduate or diploma or postgraduate, but you can choose any option while going into your career development, career path. That you may be in R&D, product development, manufacturing, marketing, community pharmacies, hospital pharmacies, drug regulator, or educator. You have got all options. But what is the situation prevailing? Now the very interesting part arises when we see that the lopsided development is achieved for the individual welfare of the pharmacist. And for that reason, we have to understand how our profession is regulated. Very important thing. That means that regulations meant for the welfare of pharmacists, in short. And it is happening through the Pharmacy Act 1948. The act was formulated before the independence, but our Indian government, after independence, passed this act in the parliament in year 1948. As you know, every act has got its own objects. Likewise, our Pharmacy Act, what it says, this act is to regulate the profession of pharmacy. Now you understand. There is an act for regulation of the profession. Unfortunately, our Pharmacy Act doesn't define what is meant by profession of pharmacy. But we understand profession of pharmacy is nothing but involving, contributing to people in various disciplines of our profession. So there is a regulation for education standards that is controlled by our Pharmacy Council of India. The second part, that is after you become a pharmacist, you have to register with your state pharmacy councils. The state pharmacy councils use your registration, and unless and until you are registered pharmacist, you cannot start a pharmacy. You cannot work in a pharmacy or hospital. So that is the major work done by our state pharmacy councils. State Pharmacy Council has also a very important duty, as the Pharmacy Council of India is having very important duty to see that our educational camps, our educational institutes are complying with all the laid down prescribed norms for providing a pharmacy education. Likewise, our state pharmacy councils has a great responsibility to see that wherever drugs are there, presence of pharmacists, supervision of pharmacists, control of pharmacists should be there. And they have got the provision to appoint a pharmacy inspector. As you see, in Food and Drug Administration, there are drug inspectors. Likewise, state pharmacy councils appoint the same pharmacy graduates or postgraduate people, even registrars, as a pharmacy inspector. And they are supposed to visit particularly the hospitals or doctors or medical store to see that whether pharmacists are there, they are doing their job properly or not. But unfortunately, majority of the states, they do not implement this provision very vigorously and very consistently. So because that deficiency on the part of state pharmacy councils, so there is no that kind of control what is required for the people who are doing the, actually we can say that it is also accepted that they are doing the business of medicine, selling medicines without the services of pharmacists. Then what happens to our pharmacy profession? What is their fate? What is their future? So for that purpose, we have to again go to the councils. Why these councils are made? The councils are made basically to regulate the profession by professional people themselves and not by the government. So accordingly, we have got the pharmacy council. The doctors have got the medical council. Nurses have got the nursing council. Dentists have got the dental council. So these councils are not interfered by the government, but they are administered They are run, they are governed by we own people. So there comes the role of Pharmacy Council of India as well as our Maharashtra State Pharmacy Councils. I already told you the important functions they are delivering regarding the standards of education and the services of pharmacists wherever they are required. The outflow of the pharmacies is now so much that I'm afraid tomorrow, as we also say in other professions, it is not case only with the pharmacy profession people. The job opportunities are trying up. Already there are no jobs. So where our pharmacists will go? So we have to take care of all the provisions. If we implement them in the stricter term, we can see that the pharmacists are not only appointed wherever they are required lawfully, but at the same time, they would get a better remuneration also. And to raise the voice, the pharmacists themselves have to be great personalities, great pharmacists in the context of their traits, their knowledge, and their urge to serve the society. Why we are here? Why we are pharmacists? Because we want to serve the patient. We want to serve the society. It is not for the casual thing that we are doing so much of hard work, getting our graduation, our post-graduation, and becoming pharmacists. But why we are becoming pharmacists? That to serve the society, to serve the patient, to serve the people. So these different sectors, we have to consider how we are integrated. All pharmacies, though working in different areas, but they are like a garland. There are flowers put in the garland. So without any flower, garland will remain incomplete. Likewise, our pharmacy profession, our sectors, our disciplines, they are independent sort of thing is there, but they are also interconnected very well. How? The pharmacist working in R&D or product development, they are giving the first opportunity to manufacture the drugs. After that, the industry people or the industry pharmacists, they manufacture the quality drugs, the different kinds of formulations, and gives to the doctors, hospitals, community pharmacists. So the important phase of our profession is community pharmacists and hospital pharmacists. We are remaining pharmacists, teachers, or brother relatives, we are playing behind the stage. But on stage, the society sees the community pharmacists and the hospital pharmacists because they are directly dealing with medicines, they are counseling, they are working with the people, patients. And therefore, their role is very crucial as to get the profession established in that particular country. Why we are not seeing, why we are not seeing the society, why society is not recognizing who is a pharmacist. You ask anybody, the man on the street, yes, dear, who is a doctor? He will treat us that person is bad or what, asking who is doctor. Doctor is known to everybody. He is cheating us. He is making us this is free. It's a doctor. You ask anybody who is lawyer, that person again laugh at you, asking about the lawyer. But when you ask who is a pharmacist, nobody, even educated people, also not able to answer your query. So who is a pharmacist? So that is a very important example to see that whether we are known to the society, unless and until through our community profession or hospital profession, army profession, we come in contact with the people. We will not be able to establish our identity. So identity crisis is the major factor today, and that is the biggest challenge. So what should be done? We have to develop leadership qualities. As we know, the WHO before 4 5 decades uh, conceptualized that what is a pharmacist, how pharmacist should be. So it is called popularly the 7-star pharmacist. The pharmacist should be caregiver. It is his duty to take care of all the problems of the patient. Maybe he is in hospital or maybe he is in community pharmacy. He has to take care of the patient and take care all the necessary advice or counseling, provide that to the patient. That caregiver is a very important part. Then comes the decision maker. Being knowledgeable pharmacist, we have to see that prescriptions are rational. Prescriptions are not being used for the abusing purpose if, indirectly. So along with prescription, he has to see that the storage conditions, he has to see the labeling changes are there or not. He has to refer back the situation to the prescriber, the medical practitioners. This is a decision-making power the pharmacist should have. Then comes the third point, third quality. We should be there. The pharmacist is a communicator. We must have the skills to communicate with doctors as well as with patients. We are linked between doctors and patients. So unless and until we have good communication skills to see that what doctor desires or to see that what patient is requiring from our services, the knowledge or counseling that has to be given. And therefore, we have to have the better communication skill among us. So this is the importance of the pharmacist, that we should be a better communicator. Then he should be manager, the manufacturing, the distribution, the logistic, and everything related with that has to be managed by the pharmacist. So unless and until he is a better manager, how he can perform all these important duties in a professional career. So that manager quality again describes the responsibility lies in the pharmacist to see that all things are going smoothly. Then the leader, pharmacist should be leader right from student days. He should be leader. He should be he may be a principal, faculty member, assistant commissioner, the inspector in industry, anywhere. Basically, they should be possessing the leadership qualities. Unless and until you are a leader, you cannot inculcate good habits among your juniors. So it is a basic fundamental need of the pharmacist that we should imbibe, we should inculcate the leadership qualities in himself. Then he should be teacher because we want to develop our juniors, our teacher faculties. They are formally doing that job in the institutions, in the college, no doubt, in the university, no doubt. But elsewhere also, you have to play a role of teacher. Pharmacy has to play a role of teacher. Teach patient, teach people, teach doctor, teach juniors the knowledge they are required to know, they are supposed to know. So everywhere the teaching component is there. So expected to be a teacher. Then the last but not least is the lifelong learner. Your knowledge always gets updated. Continuous professional education is required. What amendments are taking place in pharmaceutical monographs or in a law, the knowledge of law, legal knowledge is also very important. Therefore, the all-round performance is to be exerted by pharmacists. You should have all these 7 qualities in himself. Unless and until individual pharmacists become strong, unless and until their respective associations like our APTI or Drug Inspector Welfare Association or Indian Pharmaceutical Association or Indian Hospital Pharmacy, they are existing. But whether they are able to convert these all requirement of the profession for the people of India, that is the important thing. And unless and until our seniors, we senior people taking the juniors' confidence, making juniors to get inspiration, motivate them, is it possible? So what my concern is that today, because of apathy among our seniors, that we are not, everybody is involved with his job. He may be anywhere, the free teaching, APA or anywhere. He is involved with, because pressure is there. Pressure of employer is there. Pressure of government is there. But anyhow, we have to overcome all these pressures. And for sake of our profession, we have to sacrifice our time, our money, our thinking, our knowledge, and see that the pharmacy profession grows to the international level and in turn get people's satisfaction. In that way, we could make our profession established very well, and we should then really celebrate this great auspicious day, that is World Pharmacy Day. We have to say that where is the level of contemporary pharmacies exist in US or Europe or Japan, or Korea. So we have to strive for that. We have to strive for that. And we have to make very hard efforts for that. So this is my sincere appeal to our seniors, wherever they may be, that apart from your very busy schedule, come together at your place. Now, for example, in Nasik, there are more than 15, 20 colleges. So why there should not be a association branch, common branch who are covering, who are inviting all pharmacists together and discussing the issues of people, issues of pharmacists. So there are, you see, basically our pharmacy profession is a commercialized profession because there involves the transaction. We are selling the products. We are getting the profits. But profit, if earned out of proportion, then people put at a lot of pressure. And that is one of the reasons that particularly we are part of health industry. And the world bodies have recognized the people getting poorer and poorer. It is because of health expenditure. They have to sell their houses, they have to sell their agricultural land. This is the situation. You can get some good example of countries like Cuba. Though it is a very poor country, ruled by a communist party the last 70 years, more than that. The neighboring giant, America, continuously pressurize them. They don't have any official relation, except some few years back, again they have started. But with that poor economic situation, I am very proud to say that what fantastic medical development, health industry they have developed, medical colleges they have developed, the pharma industry they have developed. You will be surprised to know that the patient doesn't require to go to the clinic or hospital. The doctor along with nurse himself are visiting the patient's house, which we were observing in our childhood. The doctor would say that red box type of thing you used to bring with injections, needles, and some organ medicines required. And he used to come and with stethoscope, he used to examine the patient's condition, temperature, etc. And then if required, there only he used to do the injection. He was asking to get water boiled so that syringes can be prepared and they will be made immediately sterilized, and with those needles we used to give the injection. So doctors in our childhood used to come to our home on call. So it's a Cuba, the best part. There is a ratio among every 200 people or more. There is a services available at doctors. Give a call, and he will come. So this again one best example I remember is about the infant mortality rate. It is the least in world. Why? Because they take care of the pregnant woman properly. The nutrition, diet, the medical requirement is there. They are providing them to pregnant women. And therefore the infant mortality rate is least in the world. So that credit not only we should give to Cuba, we must give, but we must also should learn from them. And we know now the even Gulf countries, they are also giving uh, very good jobs with very good remuneration to the pharmacists. When that situation will come here in India, that is the big question. That question we should answer ourselves and find out the solution ourselves. By coming together, it will happen. I foresee that my whole pharmacist people will come under one umbrella, and within a single voice, they will see that government makes all demands fulfilled. Now also we see that in a hospital scenario, hardly pharmacists as required to the requirement seen working there. So there are so many problems along with jobs, along with the remuneration, along with the welfare. So it is we pharmacists, senior pharmacists, should make this environment so strong that, for example, our drugs price control order is run by our Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. There are dual controls. Why there is necessity of dual control? For example, in case of medicine, drugs, the state officers, state drug regulators, as well as the central government through the CDSO network, uh, doing the same job. It is duality. So why it should be there? Not only that, before some years back, the Ministry of Science and Technology wanted to have a licensing power with them as far as medical devices systems. Why they want? Already there are people, drug people, drug regulators working efficiently. So what is the need? But they are asking it. The earlier we used to grant the Ayurvedic license, manufacturing license. We used to go there and inspect ourselves. So we had no formal education in Ayurveda, but we were eligible according to provision of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. But Ayurveda people demanded that they should have their own ministry. Then government has thought over it, and that Ayush is created. Ayush, all these medical integrated systems are called Ayurveda, and Siddha, Yoga, etc., naturopathy. So they people took the charge of their own activities under their control. So what we are doing, we are, for example, uh, also controlling the cosmetics or homeopathy medicine. Tomorrow, some cosmetologist body or some homeopathy association would go to the government and ask for permission that we should have our own separate ministry. So, if the necessity is there, can be fulfilled, government may create their own department, their own authority, like they have created the Ayush and they have created the licensing authority provision and Act. Only Ayurveda doctors will be able to function as a licensing authority for the Ayurvedic drug. So what we are doing, again, uh, about price control, about the standards of medicine, we people, in my memory, doesn't recollect that we have gone to the government or we have gone to the judiciary to seek the justice. Always I found the doctors or their associations demanded there should be a justice in case of this fix those combination issue proper. And who are the people behind to get it resolved? Doctors, then the prices of drugs. Lot of implementation done by the doctors' bodies. So I'm really not understanding why this happens, why we people are not demanding the need of the profession or the need of the people, the government. I'm really fortunate that I could be the central government way back in 86, 87 to stop manufacturing the drugs made out of animal meat. That famous brands, you know, the drug or petroleum. And central government took many, many years. And ultimately, that preparation is banned. And now it is not, nobody manufacturing by using the animal blood. So such examples, another example, very good example I can tell you, the transfusion. There was so much of misuse of this saline, dextrose, by the even the general practitioner used to lay down the patient on his clinic and put the saline bottle in his body. So hospitals ordering tempos, truck of saline or dextrose. Patient admitted moment, give him saline or that injection. Then what was the reason? The reason was its price. So they used to get in 10, 15 rupees and they used to sell to the patient maybe 50 rupees or 100 rupees. We do not know. Hospital never gives separate pills to the patients. So we understood that scenario. And we wrote to the central government. And then first time it has happened without any ingredient of the saline or dextrose included in the drug price control or the schedule. These transfusions, these saline or dextrose preparations brought under the purview of drugs price control order. And since then, we have seen the demand has gone down because there is no profit. Why these doctors or the hospital would order so much of quantity of the parental preparations. So, like that, there would be a list of incidences, examples I could quote you. So, in short, I will advise, I will request, and I will appeal to every one of you to see that how our profession gets status. We should be always in pursuit of status to our own, to our profession. We should be dignified professionals. We should be recognized as professionals. And then only we will be feeling that, yes, I am pharmacist. So with that words, I would like to conclude. I wish many times if there is opportunity, this pandemic is over, and Kishore invite me in person to come to you. I will be very happy to mix with you, give lot of explanation or understanding, feedback or insights to your knowledge of our profession and what we do. I will definitely like to guide you. So uh, finally, uh, I would like to thank my dear friend Dr. Kishore Jain for giving me this opportunity to meet you. Probably this will be a very short time to understand all these things. I go to many parties, but my intention, same thing I discuss with our faculty members, so that if they understand this thing, they will understand, make things to understand by their students. So let us pray that God bless us and get our professional health, get our status back. And with that words, thanking all the faculty members of the college, the participant students, and my friends who are viewing this program, watching this live. Thanks to everybody. And personally, I thank Kishore and say to meet you soon. And finally, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And it will be a great pleasure to invite you physically once these restrictions are lifted. It was one of the most comprehensive coverage. I agree with you. In such a short time, it will be difficult to grasp by the students at that level, their level. But it only shows your very rich experience, profound experience, and your interest in every sphere. So, with this, I will request Kajal Madam. There, I do see there are few questions in the chat box. So one by one, these are some very what you can say common questions, or some questions are really good also. And sure, we can have a brief question answer session with Khomne sir. Okay, madam.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. So first question is that what is eligibility criteria for drug inspector?
It is basically a graduation in pharmacy and 3-4 years experience of quality control, quality assurance, or drug manufacturing. If they are doing in sterile sections, again additional thing. And if you are a law graduate, some weight is also given to you. So basically, it is graduation plus 3 years. It's very difficult nowadays to become the inspector, because the last 97 our Maharashtra state I saw the inspectors for 40 posts. There were almost 40,000 applications. So it is not possible for MPSC, because the recruitment takes through MPSC, Maharashtra Public Service Commission, and it is not possible to interview all 40,000 applicants. Then there is a screening. Every time for screening, every criteria is changed. I have seen the last 3-4 recruitments are getting MPA. So what I mean to say that competition is getting very tough. Already there are reservations available to backward classes candidates, and for open candidates there are position available. So competition very fierce, but still, if you enjoy, you have to try very hard. But what I would request our students to go for other competitive exams like UPSC. Many now many our Marathi students are clearing the IS exam or IPS. So that option is always available. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question is that are generic drugs of substandard quality?
Pardon, madam?
Are generic drugs are substandard in quality?
No. It is a rather a wrong notion. Generic means without brand names. That's all. It's the same drugs, same standard, same quality. Don't misunderstand the generic drugs are of poor quality. No, not at all. They are, in fact, the same company manufacturing generic drugs along with their same composition in brand names. So the reason I some commercial interests are there, some games they are playing, but basic answer to the query is that there is no difference between the generics. The only condition that this should not be sold with the brands.
Okay, thank you, sir, for clearing the wrong notion. Next question is that why doctors are dispensing medicine from their clinic?
Pardon, madam?
That why doctors are dispensing medicines from their clinic? From their clinic means nowadays doctor itself, some doctors they dispense medicines, no? So why allowed to do so?
No, I couldn't.
Actually, I will intervene. Anna काय म्हणतायत
बोला तर हरकत नाही मॅडम बरं का.
सर
या प्रश्न
बऱ्याच वेळा जे जनरल प्रॅक्टिशनर असतात ते आपल्याला तपासून घेतल्यावर डायग्नोसिस केल्यावर स्वतःच्याच बॉम्बे मार्केटच्या गोळ्या 2-3 असे 4-5 डोस एका खाकी पिशवीत देतात.
हा
तर मॅडमला म्हणजे त्या जे कोणी स्पीकर
हा,
क्वेश्चन रेस केलाय मिस्टर अन्सारी
हा.
हारून, त्यांना असं म्हणायचं आहे की हे गव्हर्नमेंट का नाही असं रूल करत की आर दे ऑथराइज टू डिस्पेन्स द मेडिसिन, आणि त्या बॉम्बे मार्केटची काय क्वालिटी असते. आणि बऱ्याच
बरोबर.
वेळा तिथे काही डॉक्टर लोक इनकॉम्पॅटेबिलिटी वगैरेचं काहीच नाही. 3-4 गोळ्या सगळ्या एकत्र घ्या, टीआयडी, बीआयडी.
आ, तुम्ही म्हणता 2-4 गोळ्या वगैरे, that is the subject matter of our very important topic, rational use of medicines.
हां.
Nobody bothered. WHO ने काही 3-4 प्रिन्सिपल्स इतके चांगले सांगितलेले आहेत, की एक त्यातलं लिस्ट ऑफ एसेन्शियल ड्रग्स आपल्याला माहिती आहे.
हो.
WHO ने ही लिस्ट तुमच्या गायडन्ससाठी तयार केलेली आहे, प्रत्येक देशाला पाठवली. अनफॉर्च्युनेटली ही लिस्ट पब्लिश करायला भारत सरकारला 97 साल उजाडावं लागलं. 1997 मध्ये ही लिस्ट ड्रग कंट्रोलर जनरल पब्लिश, पण ही लिस्ट कशासाठी पब्लिश केली हे ते सांगत नाही. ही लिस्ट पब्लिश केली की याच्यामध्ये जवळपास 150च्या जवळ औषधं आहेत, सिंगल इन्ग्रेडियंट, एक्सेप्ट द फार्मेशन एक्सेट्रा, किंवा काही मल्टीव्हिटॅमिन सोडले तर बाकी सगळे सिंगल इन्ग्रेडियंट ओरिजिनल ड्रग्ज आहेत. तेच वापरून तुम्ही पेशंटना बरं करा. ते स्वस्तात अवेलेबल आहे. ते स्टेरॉइड्स असतील, अँटीबायोटिक्स असतील, व्हिटॅमिन्स असतील. तर तिकडे कुणाचंही लक्ष नाहीये. ती यादी जी आहे लिस्ट ऑफ एसेन्शियल दरवर्षी तुम्ही रिवाइज करायची आहे. यू कॅन इन्क्लूड समथिंग इन दॅट, प्रोव्हाइडेड यू कन्सिडर द रिस्क बेनिफिट रेशो of that particular molecule, and then you can include in your list. But the list is prepared, the list is, at least government can implement this list of essential drugs through the government colleges, hospitals, through the rural hospitals, through the DHOs, through civil surgeons. But unfortunately, it is not happening. Now, in case of these private practitioners, according to our Schedule K of drugs and cosmetic rules, they are allowed to keep the stocks provided they are dispensing the medicine themselves. But whenever they are taking the services of some person who dispense the drugs in their clinic, in their dispensary, then definitely the services of pharmacists are required, and that doctor has to appoint a pharmacist in his clinic also as a dispenser or as a medical medicine supplier to his patient. Secondly, you are mentioning about the Bombay market. There is no such Bombay market. It is just the term point that small people were there earlier days in Mumbai particularly, and either they may be having single section like capsule or only liquids and orals. So those drugs are recognized, I mean not recognized, but popularly known as Bombay drugs. So after particularly the implementation of our good manufacturing practices schedule, the small people slowly got out of this thing. And though this GLP schedule was published in year 1988, but it took how many years to get finally cleared? The year 2005. Because associations went to High Court, from High Court to even Supreme Court, and finally Supreme Court said that some exemptions given as they were demanded by the Schedule GMP came into effect. Because of Schedule GMP, our manufacturing standards improved quite reasonably, quite satisfactorily. So today's scenario that if you go by and large, you will see that the companies are complying with the GMP norms, and we should not consider whether it is manufactured by a small person or a multinational company. They are of the same standards.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir,
Sir.
one last question. That
Sir, one
Yes,
minute. Connected to this only, actually, I have one question, sir, and you please enlighten. Recently, Odisha government came out with a GR giving additional responsibility or this thing to pharmacists with special categories of drugs. Have you gone through that, sir?
सर जरा मोठ्याने बोललं तर बरं होईल.
आ, अ, एक
थोडं
मिनिट हा.
आवाज कमी येतोय.
हा हा हा. सर रिसेंटली ओरिसा गव्हर्नमेंटने
हा
GR काढला.
बरं.
त्याच्यात फार्मासिस्टला काही ड्रग्स आणि हे म्हणजे काय काही ज्या प्रिलिमिनरी ट्रीटमेंट वगैरे सुद्धा करायला परवानगी दिली. तर आपण बघितलं का सर?
बरं. दिली परवानगी, चांगली गोष्ट आहे ना.
चांगली गोष्ट आहे.
हा चांगली गोष्ट आहे, काय वाईट काही नाही.
गेल्या आठवड्यातच झालं ते. आणि आणि रिगार्डिंग हे जे आहे प्रत्येक हे जे जनरल प्रॅक्टिशनर असतात ते आपल्या क्लिनिकमध्ये जिथं त्या ज्या टेबलावर ते चेक करतात पेशंटला तिथंच बाजूला त्यांचे ते छोटेसे हे असते डिस्पेन्सरी आणि त्या डब्यात 1000 टॅबलेट या टॅबलेट असतात आणि ते त्यांच्या त्या तिथल्याच त्या रिसेप्शनिस्ट कम ऑल इन वन व्यक्तीला सांगतात, "हे दे, इतके दे, इतके दे, इतके दे." त्यात कळत पण नाही आपल्याला म्हणजे असं काही तुम्ही एवढे वर्ष ड्रग कंट्रोलरमध्ये म्हणजे ड्रग कंट्रोल
हं.
FDA मध्ये हायर पोझिशनला आहे. असं का प्रोव्हिजन नाही, की कधी-कधी जसं मेडिकल स्टोअर्सचं पण FDA इन्स्पेक्टर्स इन्स्पेक्शन करतात, तसं डॉक्टरांचं काय झालं पाहिजे का? फॉर मी
नाही
मी
नाही का सर, अतिशय चांगलं ऑब्झर्वेशन आहे तुमचं. आणि ही परिस्थिती एक्झिस्टिंग आहे आपल्या इथे.
फार आहे, फार आहे.
पर्टिक्युलरली
कॉमन आहे सर ती.
फार कॉमन आहे.
मी आता
आणि
स्वतः
त्याचा
मी स्वतः व्हायरलने सफर होतोय मी. तर मी
बरोबर.
आता प्रोलॉंग 10-15 दिवसापासून ट्रीटमेंट घेतोय. त्या पुड्या घेऊन येतो मी, पैसे देतो. पण मी ते एकही गोळी खात नाही सर. मी फक्त जे त्यांनी
बरोबर.
प्रिस्क्रिप्शन केलेलं असतं ना, माझा कॉमन सेन्स वापरून हे करतो. कारण ते इतका जोराचा मारा असतो तो आणि मला ते डोक्यातच बसत नाही, की 3 आणि 4 गोळ्या एकत्र घ्यायच्या. आत बीइंग अ केमिस्ट आत डिसॉल्व्ह होऊन त्यांचे काय केमिकल कंपाउंड्स बनतील, काय एकमेकांशी रिएक्शन करतील त्याचा काही विचारच नसतो.
बरोबर. हे ही सत्य परिस्थिती आहे. फॉर्च्युनेटली आपण शिकलेले आहोत, त्याच प्रोफेशनचे आहोत म्हणून आपण हे सगळं व्हेरिफाय करू शकतो. त्या गरीब लोकांचं काय आहे? आता दुसरी गोष्ट ह्या डॉक्टर लोकांवर चेक करायचं, हॉस्पिटल लोकांना चेक करायचं, तर आपल्याकडे येऊन आता हा जॉब फार्मसिस्ट आहे की नाही त्या फॅसिलिटीमध्ये, हॉस्पिटलमध्ये, हे स्टेट फार्मसी काउन्सिलचं पण काम आहे. पण दुर्दैवाने त्यांच्याकडून तेवढं होत नाही. हे काम आपलं एफडीएचं पण आहे. पण दुर्दैवाने आपल्याकडे स्टाफ नसल्यामुळे तेवढा ते काम आपल्याकडे होत नाही. कधीतरी तक्रारीचे, कंप्लेंटीच्या औषधा बाबतीत तेवढ्या पुरतं हॉस्पिटलला जाणं होतं. परंतु असं रेग्युलर जसं आपण आता आपले लायसन्सिंग एस्टॅब्लिशमेंट जे आहेत ना, डिस्ट्रिब्युटर किंवा मेडिकल स्टोअर, यांच्याकडे सुद्धा असं नियमितपणे जाणं फार अवघड होतं. बेसिकली आपली संख्या कमी. दुसरी गोष्ट कशी मी ऑब्झर्व्ह केली, if we are very strict means we are according to the rules and regulations punishing the licensing. So that makes lot of difference. दुसरे लोक शहाणे होतात, हुशार होतात. तसं काहीसं तुम्ही डॉक्टर लोकांच्या बाबतीत सुद्धा केलं पाहिजे. त्यांना नोटीस दिली पाहिजे. स्टेट काउन्सिलकडे त्यांची तक्रार गेली पाहिजे. त्यांच्या विरुद्ध त्यांचं लायसन्स सस्पेंड करावं काही दिवसासाठी वगैरे. Similarly, I was the first officer to write to the State Pharmacy Council, where I found the medical stores for years together have not appointed pharmacists. So I immediately, more than 200 licenses I cancelled during my tenure in Thane and Mumbai. Unfortunately, there is a provision under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. You can, I mean, the licensee can go to the appeal to the government. And what is the procedure? Go there in Mantralaya, submit application, and you get the stay. Stay for how many days? For years together. Then what is the purpose of carrying out inspection and punishing that? Punishing in that sense, he is given chance to improvise. If he is not able to improvise, we can close the loan or we can cancel that. That is the affair. But these appeals are heard by cabinet minister. Or secretary, because state minister is not considered as a government. Government means only cabinet minister and secretary of the department. But there in Mantralaya, you will see that the power are given to the state minister. Legally, it is not possible, but it is going on. And height of this thing that when there were hundreds of appeals were pending, to pulled off. So our one minister from Latur, he called all people there in Latur, and within 3-4 days, all appeal matter were disposed of, lowering the punishment given earlier by the licensing authority. In such scenarios, sir, you tell me, the impact of FDA should be there. Another thing, FDA should be an educator also, because we all are pharmacists. Whatever is there, our amendments are taken place. It is our bounden duty to call the meetings of association officers at least, or if possible, for taluka level, all pharmacists working in the community pharmacy outlets, and explain them. These are the things. So I had a practice to at least once a year, I used to go to every taluka place, giving prior intimation to their leaders that I am coming. And it was a very good exchange of ideas, and the new amendments, or even the whatever was there, which they should know to follow, that we were experiencing. So one way there is a good communication, good bonding between the regulators and the licensing. So only punishment is not the solution. Education is also equally important. So likewise, it can be also done in case of our medical practitioner. But I told you the difficulty of scarcity of the resources, human resources.
Need more of Jagade sir type FDA commissioners who really gave the respect to the qualification, I think. And another question, this e-pharmacy is mushrooming. And this is a common topic on our dear pharmacist group also. So in brief, sir, something.
E-pharmacy is nothing but the counseling should be provided e-line. Medicine should be provided through home delivery. And the rest of the things remain same. Storage condition, wherever they are stocking the drugs, they have to obtain the licenses. Same situation. What we will give license to them. And as far as the OTC drugs are concerned, OTC drugs are available over the counter in medical shop. Similarly, you order to the company, and they will deliver the drugs. It is a question of prescriptions of the drugs. So it's my knowledge, barring few exceptions, the companies are scrutinizing the prescription and then only supplying the prescribed medical products. See, whole thing is why we are afraid of e-pharmacy. So we think that whether the drugs are of good quality, or the people who are already there in the business, they feeling that there will be a great competition, because they see advertisements of the e-pharmacy on telephone, on TV, or on paper, print media, and they are offering 10%, 20% discount. So they are afraid of about their bread and butter, the impact. But likewise, if you go through other commodities, there are very well established international companies doing the job, like Amazon. So we have to face those conditions, because we cannot refuse those operators to play in India. We are bounded by the WTO agreements. We have opened up the economic. Accordingly, these people are coming. And again, if you go behind why they are starting e-pharmacy, it is a business. It is a profit they are earning. Without how profit is earned? By competing the local people. I mean, original pharmacy people, by competing with them, by making them. So, person naturally, if he gets drugs cheaper than what he gets from his next door pharmacy, he would prefer to buy those drugs on the online. So that is the simple behavior the ordinary patient or ordinary person will show them. If difference of cost will play a lot of role in getting these e-pharmacy success or failure. So all these questions will be there, they will be discussed. But legally speaking, they are doing with all conditions as applicable to our regular pharmacy or regular medical care.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, one last question, that why
Yes.
life-saving drugs are so
Madam,
cost.
open the video,
Yes, sir.
please.
That why life-saving drugs are so costly that they are unaffordable to the poor people.
See, life-saving drugs consist so many things, right? So many molecules. I mean, so we have to understand which particular life-saving drug you are talking about. So if it is not a regular drug, because regular drugs are covered under the Drug Price Control Order, but if it is a new drug or it is a sort of combination of the drug, then manufacturers are at liberty to put the cost of the. We know the example of Prevnar formulation injection for the blood cancer. There was a fight going on our Indian companies and Glaxo, and ultimately we won that case. So though there are provisions that for 20 years the pharma company who had that patent can sell those drugs at the price whatever they decide. But again, there is a clause. Any country, any government of that particular country, it feels that that drugs would be allowed to be any manufactured in their own country or neighboring country, manufactured by giving the licenses for the country. They can do so. Thailand was the first country in the world who used this provision. And we were the first country where we fought our case and we won that case. Our pharma company won that case against the Glaxo as far as that liver injection is. So basic question, life-saving drugs are cost expensive. We have to categorize. Life-saving drugs means what? Life-saving drugs belong to this category also. Normal drugs which are already not coming under the category of new drugs. New drug prices cannot be controlled. They are at the liberty of the own manufacturer. And he is the only sole supplier of that. Therefore, a monopoly is there. In that case, yes, there would be definitely very exorbitant price, which in our country, rich man can also not afford it to have. Forget about middle class people, of course.
Thank you very much, sir, for answering all the queries, and it was really a very enlightening session. Now, I would request Professor Shilpa Raut to present vote of thanks.
Tell Shilpa Rao to have the video on. Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Now we are heading toward the end of the session. Let me grab the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks. It was indeed a privilege to have Shri B.E. Khomne sir for his insightful session on pharmacy, always trusted for your health, and was very informative. The staff and students who are attending this lecture must have got extensive perception of pharmacists as a part of healthcare system. It will be definitely helpful for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your precious time with us. I also extend my sincere thanks to our management, trustee, and honorable president for providing such a great platform and constantly boosting us for achieving new heights. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. K.S. Jain sir, for constant motivation and enthusiastic contribution for successful conduction of the session. I also forward my sincere thanks towards our DFARM principal, Hirole sir, for his valuable guidance and support. I express my gratitude towards all the dignitaries from various institutes for their presence. I forward my gratitude to technical committee who is standing firmly for successful conduction of the webinar. Finally, yet importantly, I thank all my colleagues for their continuous support and to all attendees for their great and huge response. Thank you. Now I'm requesting Dr. K.S. Jain sir to allow me to conclude the session.
Thank you once again, Khomne sir, for a wonderful and a knowledgeful session. You are
Thank you,
really
sir.
have so much of knowledge, and indeed, and I am, that is also reflected that till the end we had 150 plus audience, so glued. So
Very good.
thank you. And actually, we wanted this session because today university has again organized a combined world pharmacist session with Honorable Vice
Yes.
Chancellor and Dr. Deepak Shirgaonkar as the speakers. But
Yes. Good.
I think we had a beautiful session, and thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Shilpa madam. Thank you, Kajal madam. Thank you, Amrutkar sir, for all the efforts, and all other staff members, Bedse madam, as well as other staff members, TV Pawar sir. And very soon, sir, we will be uploading today evening this video on YouTube, and we will share it with you, sir.
I'll be obliged, sir.
I think it will be very useful, because for myself also I came to know few minute details about certain things. So I am really very happy. And with your kind permission, sir, shall we close the session?
Pleasure. Yes, sir.
And thank you all the audience, students, as well as there are many other followers of Khomne sir who have also attended this. Thank you very much for a huge response.
Particularly, sir, our Harun Ansari is there.
Yes,
Our
yes, he
Parag
has
is
asked
there.
questions also. I see him on
I
the
saw them. My
Dear pharmacist
brother-in-law
also I
is
see.
there.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are there. They are till the end. They are there. So thank you very much, sir. So Shilpa madam,
you.
please
Thank
close
you.
the session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will.
Announcement. Feedback link is provided in chat box. So all attendees are requested to fill it.
Thank you. We'll come back with the feedback and the video to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
Now, with due permission of speaker and our principal, sir, I hereby declare the session is over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.